Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of FSI's PGA DFS Picks. I am your host, TK Nation 47, bringing to you the Showdown Round 4 for the Memorial Tournament. Where do I begin with today's news? Just one of the most shocking things I think I've ever seen in sports, and certainly in these unprecedented times, we'll see things with just unprecedented repercussions. And poor Jon Rahm, honestly, to be a victim of something completely what seems to be out of his control, being tested positive for COVID-19, up 6 strokes, just played one of the best rounds he's ever played in a golf tournament, and told on the 18th green that he can no longer play and no longer what seemingly was a tournament that was over. So we have a completely new tournament, what seems like one of the wackiest ones I've seen, given the rain and now this. So we have a wide open round 4 to discuss, and we'll have to just move on without Jon Rahm. That's unfortunate. And so now we have 2 guys tied for first instead of second, and that is Collin Morikawa and Patrick Cantley at 12 under. Let's dig in tier by tier on our best showdown plays for tomorrow. So we have the 10K range: Morikawa 10.5, Xander 10.2, and Justin Thomas 10K. As I mentioned, Collin Morikawa 12 under is leading the tournament now with the withdrawal of Jon Rahm, who was basically spanking the place off in just 21 strokes gained, 13.3 ball striking, breaking records, and no longer atop of our salary. So Morikawa comes in with 7.8 strokes gained on the approach, which was second to Jon Rahm at 10.3 ball striking and 13 strokes tee to green, which was second all to Jon Rahm. So clearly the second best golfer of this tournament at the moment is Collin Morikawa, and now he is thrusted into the first place position, and I kind of believe he could be the one to pull it out and come away the victor, especially when Morikawa is gaining strokes with his putter, which we've seen. But I wouldn't count out Cantley. But if I'm going to start lineups tomorrow, it's going to be with Collin Morikawa, even at the 10.5 price tag. Xander is gaining strokes on the approach and with his ball striking, but he is losing strokes around the green. He hasn't certainly been as dynamic as Morikawa and Cantley and Rahm, but he's been good enough at what he's doing specifically well to get him around the golf course. I think it sets up for a good GPP play. He is in 10th. Everyone feels like they have an opportunity now. I could certainly see Xander coming in, playing well. I just worry how he's playing around the greens. Tomorrow we're going to have ideal conditions again, so maybe the irons are going to be good enough for him to play very well. Next up, we have what is Spieth at 10K, or Justin Thomas, at 10K. JT hasn't really made himself known here yet. He's not gaining strokes with a putter for the what seems like 5th consecutive tournament in a row. So the ball striking is not as dynamic as it could be, and the putting obviously will not bail him out because of it. So I think I'm going to fade JT and play more Morikawa and Xander. And this next guy I'm going to talk about here in this 9K range, and that is Patrick Cantley at 9.8, tied for first now. Patrick Cantley made that nice birdie putt on 18. I did see that. He is playing at the highlight of his game right now with 5.5 strokes on the approach, 8.3 ball striking, and 11.3 tee to green. Is gaining strokes putting, as we saw today with that awesome putt downhill on 18. Another guy that's going into tomorrow thinking this tournament's wide open. I can certainly see Patrick Cantley trying to post a low number. He's won here in the past. So has Morikawa at the workday that won, I believe, last year, the tournament before Memorial that Jon Rahm won. So as you can see, guys that play well at this course continue to play well at this course over time. And I can certainly see Patrick Cantley and Collin Morikawa being 1A, 1B in most lineups tomorrow. Spieth at 9.6. I think he's an okay play. He's climbed climbed up the leaderboard since round one. After an abysmal round one, he's been making his way back up through the top. This is a golfer that's been number one tee to green, except for Memorial, for the last what seems like 4 or 5 months. So Spieth is certainly not a bad play going into tomorrow. I think him and Xander make for decent GPP plays as pivots off of Cantley and Morikawa in case they go backwards. But note, we do have finishing position to think about. There is a huge discrepancy in scoring between first and 18th. So it's kind of like you need some Cantley, you need Morikawa. They're going to go back and forth tomorrow. I feel like birdies are still going to be had for both them too. So if you want Spieth and Xander, I think those are two plays you're going to have to play with one of Morikawa and Cantley to have an optimal showdown build. Scottie Shuffler at 9-1 would be the only other consideration in this range for me that's been playing fairly well. He did have a pretty good round that he played with Rahm and Morikawa today. Scheffler just continues to show up. He's gaining strokes putting. He's gaining strokes on the approach. 4.5 on both. 7.5 tee to green. Third in the field in strokes gained total. Obviously, with being third place, lights out for Scottie Shuffler again. Just complete troll, because every time I play him, I seemingly don't get him right, and I didn't play any of them in Classic, and here he is, T3. That's just pretty par for the course for me and Scottie Shuffler. The battle rage is on, and tomorrow I'm going to play him, so don't play him because he'll probably suck tomorrow because I'll have a little bit of him in his lineup. So that's just how it's gone. The next up we have what is seemingly an interesting play here at 8,900, and that is Bryson DeChambeau. I've never seen him priced in the 8K range, not since he's been on this mega run. And DraftKings notice he hasn't been playing up to par, but he's still tied for 29th. Even, I mean, he could post a low number, go 6 under, and he could be up there inside the top 10. So I think Bryson makes for a fairly good DPP play because of that upside. We saw him today. He was cutting angles that nobody has cut angles at Memorial before, driving the ball over 350 yards. It was certainly a sight to behold. I do want to make a quick note. It is a punk move from Bryson to be kicking people out for saying, let's go, Brooksy. I get the whole rivalry is childish and cheap between Brooks and Bryson, and the beef seemingly seems staged, but to be kicking people out that paid hard-earned money to see you play, even if they're being assholes, you shouldn't be kicking people out. That's not your place. I mean, if they're being completely disrespectful, I get it, but they're calling you just another person's name. It's not derogatory. Just suck it up and play golf. Be a professional. Quit being a crybaby. And I think it's kind of bullshit. So I hope Bryson for that gets, as heckled as can be for kicking people out for what seems like silliness. Next up, 8,800, that is Patrick Reed, and then 8,700, that is Shane Lowry. I have them both in one of my best lineups. I'm hoping they can continue to go up the leaderboard. They've been really steady, really consistent golfers. They get it done in different ways. Elements don't seem to bother these guys, and they seem to play well on harder courses. That's why I was on them pre-tournament. I think I'm going to have one or the other to pair with my Morikawa and then Cantley, or Morikawa and Spieth. And then I'll have the next bit of Reed and Lowry. I'm going to try to make that work. It's going to be harder because they're in this high 8K range, but let's get into some 7K plays that I think can be, that can help us fit those 3 stud builds that we'll need. Homa and Ortiz real quick, 8,100 and 8K. Kind of throw a wrinkle into that. If you don't want to play Lowry or Reed and you want to play Homa and Ortiz and try to get the same production out of them, I would totally get it. I just think Lowry and Reed are a little bit more consistent. They're a little more battle tested. Those are golfers that can do huge things on round 4s that win them golf tournaments. And I think that's the difference between their price tags between Homa and Ortiz. But I think from a DraftKings perspective, you could certainly get the same production, the same birdies, the same input from Homa and Ortiz from just a scoring perspective. And you'll get a little bit of savings to pay for a little bit of better golfer in the 7K range considerably. Guys like, I don't mind Chris Kirk and Kyle Stanley. 2 golfers I was on pre-tournament. I think everyone jumped off the Kirk wagon after that bad miscut last week, but he's certainly been playing up to par. And Kyle Stanley, before the last, what seems like 6 holes, he was cruising through that third round. He just kind of fell apart at the end. I don't know if that translates into a pretty bad round 4, but what I do know is that Kyle Stanley is gaining 3.7 strokes on the approach and 4.8 ball striking. That's not as strong as you would like to see, but he is in the 7K range for a reason. He is going to have some flaws, but he's certainly playing better than any other in his price range. Carlos Ortiz, I mentioned him already. Brennan Grace, T3. This is a golfer that's been quite hot lately. Brennan Grace coming in with 4-point strokes on the approach, 6.1 ball striking, and 17 to green. He is doing a lot with the putter. That is pretty abnormal for someone like Brennan Grace. I wonder if there's some regression at hand, but I don't know. I'm going to bet on it because he's had some really good form. I think he's in line for a really good finish. Joel Dahman has been playing fairly well, but he does have bad course history at this course over time. I think he could be a victim of a bad 4th round. Taylor Gooch is just too cheap. He's been pretty steady at that 7K price tag. He is gaining strokes on the approach around the green. He's just losing strokes off the tee, which is not something you want to see. That is not ideal for a golfer at any price range, especially at a place that is tree-lined like Memorial. Aaron Wise, not bad. Glover, not bad. Siwoo Kim is the biggest misprice of the slate. Siwoo Kim coming in below 6K or 7K. He is gaining strokes on everything in the field. He is kind of calmed down, and I think he could be in line for a good round 4. Gaining in all facets of the game. He is considered a core play for me tomorrow at 6,700. I will have a lot of Siwoo Kim. I will also have quite a bit of Rosner, Antoine Rosner. Name to get to know, a guy off the European tour that I do play. The Frenchman is gaining 7.3 strokes on the approach, 8.9 tee to green, 8.8 ball striking. That is probably a better play than Siwoo Kim. He's just not gaining as many strokes on the putter that Siwoo is. So if you do believe in Siwoo's putter, then you play Siwoo. If you don't believe in Siwoo's putter, I think you're going to get cheaper ownership on Rosner, and I think they're both fairly good plays, and I would roll them both out there. Lucas Herbert's getting really lucky with the putter. He has been all 4 rounds. I'm going to continue to fade him, and that'll probably do it. Siwoo and Antoine Rosner are my favorite plays in that 6K range. Okay, guys, thank you for listening in on the Memorial Tournament this week and listening in for the Showdown picks for us at Fantasy Sports Insight. Please like and comment below. As always, subscribe to the channel. A lot of great things here at FSI that are going on. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. We got MLB daily, NASCAR. We got Sonoma tomorrow. Another road course racetrack. We did really well on the Xfinity today with a lot of good results from between Megan and I. Money was won today, so get to the NASCAR video tomorrow. Get into the Discord and get all those core plays, free projections, model rankings, anything you need from the guys. There's also different kinds of things like NASCAR pools, daily prop bets for prize picks, monkey knife fight. There's a Discord channel full of everything. NBA Top Shot, you name it. You can find that link in the bio at FSI_DFS. And I'm your host, TKNation47. So thank you guys, and listen in to what we have in store. Appreciate it.